Hey, so today I want to share really briefly 3 ways that you can figuratively put your mask on first. Before I dive into that, if you are new to my page, I want to take a moment to introduce myself. I am Danielle the coach. I'm a certified life and leadership coach. I help millennials live and lead authentically, redefine success, and show up powerfully in any setting. So back to getting us to a place where we are intentional about putting our own mask on first. And I say figuratively because right now we're in the midst of this pandemic at the time of this recording. And before the pandemic hit, the saying still rang true. And there was a parallel made to when you are preparing to take flight and the flight attendants share with you instructions, on what to do in the event of an emergency, in case of an emergency. And when it comes to putting on the mask that drop down from, above your head, the instruction is always, without hesitation, make sure you put your mask on first. Before you help anybody else, put your mask on first. So I kind of want to put us in that headspace because masks in this day and time, literally on this day, masks are used in everyday life right now. So I want to make the distinction on where my mask analogy is coming from. So think about taking flight. And so when it comes to putting your mask on first, this came up for me as something that's important because so many of us take our time and energy and we exert it to anybody and everybody and everything else. And at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, we find ourselves left with like just putters in our gas tank. We're puttering around town, or in life or in work in our business because we've exerted ourselves so much and given so much of our time, energy, effort, intellect, you name it, resources, that when it's time to finally serve us, we don't even care to do it because we don't have any energy. And so here are 3 ways that I am recommending for you to consider when it comes to putting your own mask on first. And so the first way is just say no. No, no, no. No. If it's not a hell yes, it's a no. That's a litmus test that I use for my own personal self um, because I'm that person. And so I'm speaking from experience in being a huge giver, especially when I care. Whatever it is, if I care about you, if I care about your effort or your initiative or the work that I'm doing, you name it, like I'm all in. And then I'm also typically the last one to get served. So I get it. I understand. And so for me, I had to form a boundary. And the boundary was moving forward. If I'm invited to something or if I'm offered something, um, if I'm interested in something and I have to prioritize, for me, I weigh. Is it a hell yes? And if it's not a hell yes, it's an automatic no. So far, that's worked out well for me, and I've been able to stay true to myself and my inner will when it comes to taking on more responsibility or making clutch decisions. If it's not a hell yes, it's a no for me. My second suggestion in a way that you can put your mask on first is for you to look at things on your never-ending to-do list. I would put money on the fact that there are things on your to-do list that make your heart not just smile but sing. Things that you cannot wait to get to. Things that you just, oh man, you probably even said to yourself, "Well, I can't wait till this week is over so I can get to that." Or I can't wait till I check these other boxes, which could be major milestones before I take that trip. Whatever those things are that make your heart smile and even make your heart sing, my challenge to you is to take them, at least one of them, and move it to the top of your list. Why? Because you are important. You matter. Take that, move it to the top, do something that appeases you, do something that puts a little gas in your own tank on purpose. On purpose, because when you say yes to you, you're saying no to something else. When you say yes to something else, you're saying no to you. So why live life in a way that you are giving, 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 and probably at a point where you're not even giving as well as you could because you're not giving from a full tank. So when you take a minute to go and recharge, then you have more will and tenacity and grit probably to go out here and do whatever you do, and walk away knowing that you gave it your all, whatever the things may be or the activities or tasks or work may be that you are saying yes to. So the third suggestion that I have on how you can put your mask on first is to ask for help. Ask for the help that you need. And not only asking for help, but making specific requests. And here's what I'm aware of that happens. Why? Because I know from firsthand experience again, that asking for help for some of us is really hard because we're so independent. A lot of times we feel like, well, I might as well do it myself. By the time I find help or the right help or viable help, I could have done it myself in the first place. And sometimes asking for help is uncomfortable. We would rather not. We would rather suffer in silence than ask for help. We don't have to. We don't have to. Unless that's the final resort and no help is available anywhere, you don't have to. So not only am I suggesting that you ask for help, I'm asking for you to be specific in the help that you need. And here's why. This nugget was dropped on me last year, and it just totally rocked my world. And so what I learned was this concept of unmet expectations are often the result of unmade requests. I'll say it again because I know it was heavy when I heard it for the first time. Unmet expectations are often the result of unmade requests. Now there's two parts to it. There's the part where, well, three parts. There's the part where you have the awareness of yourself and you acknowledge that you need help. There's part two is where you actually ask for the specific help that you need. And the third part of it is being willing to accept whatever the response is from the person to whom you requested help. Be prepared to hear a no, but also be proud that you didn't suffer in silence, that you asked for the help that you needed. And who knows, you could very well get a yes. You probably could get a yes before you even finish making the first request. You just don't know. But again, you don't know unless you make the request known. And so again, I'll run through them again. So 3 ways that you can figuratively put your mask on first. One is to just say no. If it's not a hell yes, it's a no. And whatever the boundary is for you, or whatever the threshold may be for you, define your own boundary. You don't have to use mine, but definitely figure out what your test is to help your decision making be a bit more fluid and take that pressure off of you. Because when you have a decision to make and you don't make it right away, that monkey stays on your back. So something comes in, there's an invitation, there's an offer, there's an opportunity. What is your litmus test? Apply the litmus test. If it's a hell yes, I'm in. If it's not a hell yes, it's a no. That's how it works for me. So figure out what that test is for you and apply it accordingly. The second way is to reprioritize something that feeds your soul, that makes your heart sing. Take something from the bottom of your list and move it to the top on purpose. Do something that puts gas in your tank on purpose and make that a habit so that it becomes muscle memory. You can give, but you also have to fill your own tank back up too. Especially if it's not being refilled by somebody else, that means you have to do it. You have to be intentional about doing it, whether it's comfortable or not, whether you feel like you should have to or not. If nobody else is doing it, you need to fill your tank. And lastly, ask for help. Ask for the help you need and be specific about the help you need, because unmet expectations are often the result of unmade requests. And also be prepared for your expectations not to be met, even if you've made the request, but also have the grace enough to know that there is potential, there is a possibility for your request to be made or met by a third party. Just know that. And with that, I am going to get out of here, but I really do hope that this was helpful for you and that you will reflect on this in moments where you're feeling overwhelmed, you feel like you're stretched, and you really want to regroup, but you're not sure how. And even if you don't remember what I said, come back and find this video. It will be here on my page. And if this was helpful for you, drop me a line and let me know. Send me a message and let me know. I would really appreciate it. I'll see you next time.